standards of artists, but by your own standards, right?
Yes. Well, really, we do what we have to do. I mean, like, why does someone go around the world in a balloon? Why does someone go to Everest? You could climb to the first level and say, gee, what a beautiful view. I'm going to hang out here. I'm safe now. I'm at this plateau. I don't have to put myself at risk any further. But somehow, just to know that you can get higher, just the idea to know that your vision can be expanded, that you can look out into further horizons and bring that back, hopefully. If you can do that, that's sort of like what we're about. Human beings are such that we are not satisfied with mere existence. And once we have the existence part covered, we're looking to become larger than we are. And the way we do that is, in my opinion, the way we do it, the way I'm endeavoring to do it, is through creation. When we create, we're closest to God, because that's what God is, the creator. So to be in the place where we're creating is really to be as close as we can be to God, in my opinion. And that's, I guess, really what it is that drives me. It's really the best I can give. I mean, there are people who can give other things. There are people who give nourishment to their children every day. They got 10 kids. They got to, make a bowl of porridge for them. And I think that's really wonderful. The heroes that go out to work 40 hours a week in some drudge factory, they're a hero too. My brand of heroism is being a fool first. Like you said, I was a fool. And because every hero starts out a fool. And if you're not a fool, you can't be a hero, because you're not going to do things that everybody will do. And if you fail at it, you stay the fool. And if you succeed at it, you're the hero, only if you bring back the spoils for everybody else to share.
But you certainly aren't afraid of taking the risk. And some people say, oh, you come to Maui, you get laid back, you kick back, you get mellow, you don't have to work so hard. You certainly could rest on your laurels if you wanted to. You've done very well. These are wonderful paintings. People love them. They love having you have world famous clients. But obviously there's a fire in you that's keeping you going.
Oh, absolutely. And really, the fact, I mean, sometimes everybody has hard days, everybody has hard times and challenges that we face. What really is tremendously rewarding is when I see how it affects my patrons. And then I know I'm doing something right. I know that it's making their world a little bit better. And they usually are fairly successful people in the world to be able to afford the work. They usually have a position of authority or have people working with them. And what does happen, Cindy, is that a trickle-down theory occurs. They get changed by seeing around the art. They then pass that down to the people around them. Mm-hmm. And it affects a lot more people than my art goes to. Mm-hmm. So that's the way that I serve.
You know, as some people, they would, if they were artists, if they were in New York or even here, they'd try to do art that they would think was commercial or popular or what the latest fad is. Yours doesn't fall into any of that. I mean, this is not like anything else you see in Lahaina or Makua or New York or anywhere. This is really Elan, and it's really unique to you, isn't it?
Well,
the
yeah.
colors and the vibrancy is not the kind of thing you see in most places right now.
Absolutely. Well, it's not unique to me only in the sense of the paintings. What I mean by that is that you can find it in gemstones, the colorations. You can find the forms in many different areas that you look at, whether it's, it appears as if it's alive. It's not so alien. It's not abstract. It's not abstracted to be removed from. It's more about being connected and into what it is. It's meta-realistic in the sense that it's beyond our normal vision.
I love that. Meta-realistic, what a wonderful term. I love that term, meta-realistic. It's like metaphysics, but even meta-realistic work. And this is what you're doing, meta-realistic work.
Yes.
And that is meta-realistic for you. It's very real, and it's beyond the real, but it is very real at the same time.
Yes.
And it's very powerful. It's extremely powerful, energetic work that has this vibrancy. So I'm sure when people see this, it's not like you can walk in a room and ignore a piece like this.
No,
you know?
you cannot. And in fact, what happens is that one of the most important things that helps me see this is over 70% of my patrons have 2 or more of my pieces, and over 25% have 5 or more.
Wow, that is amazing.
So they dine and come back for more.
That's wonderful.
They make the decision that they love it, and it changes them. I have so many letters about how it affected their lives and what it's done and how it makes a difference in them.
Really?
Oh yeah, and I'd say well over 95% of my patrons have invited me to their homes to visit and stay with them. I make friends with my patrons.
But you don't have any time to do any of that. You're painting, you're painting and developing and building all the time. You don't stop, it seems like.
Well, you're right in that sense. I mean, I don't have as much time as I'd like to have to spend time with my friends and my patrons and whoever. In a way, this is so important to me to put it out, and we feel this is our raison d'être, our reason to be. Mm-hmm. Thank God I have a reason to be.
Yes, thank God.
Without it, I would feel bereft.
Mm-hmm.
This is your question you asked me earlier, Cindy, was, like, what do you give up? Well, you do. You don't have as much time to spend with friends and family. Usually I find that what happens as we grow personally, we start leaving our mother's, embrace and move into, a lover's embrace, and then we move into a familial embrace, and then we move into a world scope embrace.
Mm-hmm.
So usually, the way I've seen it is the larger we become, the less singular we become. Mm-hmm. The more we get involved with, the largesse of the world and the cosmos and things of that nature, in a sense. And we may not give as much to, a familial situation as others do.
And that's the price.
That's the price we pay. There's a price for going to Annapurna. That's the price for circling the world in a balloon. Some of us have to do that, and others, don't. Either way, it's your choice. It's not one is right, but in a sense, if we have in my opinion, if we really have something that we feel can really make a difference, it's almost like cheating the world for not giving it to them.
So. You ever counted how many pieces you've done?
I've done well over 700 that are around the world today.
700 pieces.
Yeah, that are all around the world
Amazing.
Today, in every country of the world.
That's amazing to me. I mean, that's mind-boggling. 700 pieces.
Yeah,
there is. You just still every week you paint, right?
Yeah.
Make time, and you still have all the business, and you're still developing and developing, but you set aside time to paint still every week.
Well,
right?
I work longer than most people do. I work hard. I work very intense. There's no la-di-da here. I'm not taking a double aught brush and going like this every few minutes and thinking and then going like that again. I am really intense. It's like, imagine a surgeon with a team of of nurses on a tightrope. And you've got a little bit of an idea of what this is. I must run the marathon when I'm painting. I probably put on more than 26 miles. And it's very intense, very labor intensive, very powerful, very flowing, and it's, there's a great power that surges through the room. I have now two assistants that work along with me. They keep my cups filled with paint. They mix my paint. They, of course, they do my canvases in the sense they stretch them and build them and all of that. But during a paint day, when we're painting, the place is wild.
Really?
And, oh, we're going wild. And we start off very calm. Everybody goes into prayer. We hold hands.
Really?
We hold hands. First, I'm meditating before I go into prayer. Then when we go into prayer, whoever is there, like usually we have 4 people or whatnot, we hold hands and pray.
What do you pray?
Well, we pray for the power to create great work, for God to give us a hand in guiding our hand to create beauty, that we should be able to receive the power that puts beauty into the world. Mana is invested in the art, and that's where it comes from. It comes from the energy. What is a painting? What is art anyhow but spirit invested into an inanimate object?
Mm-hmm.
Because what is art without spirit?
Just spirit and form.
That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
So what we're doing is investing that spirit in a form that other people can feel. I mean, we don't necessarily say this to everybody, but basically we hope that they'll feel it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're not buying paint on canvas, for God's sakes.
No, it's a lot more than that's true. How do you capture spirit? It's a very good question, and you seem to have found the way to do it. And I really love the fact that you are so on fire with it, and you don't stop, and you just keep going, and you have plans to do wonderful things in the future, right?
Yeah, I do. And part of the idea of love is not only be in love now, but the thoughts of the future. The thoughts of the future only help the love that you have, whether it's for an individual, for the world, or for your work. So there's always a future involved with love. Without the future, we don't have that same feeling of love. If you think it's going to stop tomorrow, you could probably feel sad, if you think it's going to stop tomorrow. But I'm also not the type of person that wants to fail at any particular thing.
Mm-hmm.
And if I thought that whatever love I was going to have was going to leave me tomorrow, I'd love today, but I wouldn't whine about it tomorrow. I would do my best to move on.
Mm-hmm.
So we think of always, I think when I say we, I'm certainly including myself, but I think a quotient of love is that it's going to be shared. I think a quotient of art is that it's going to be shared.
Mm-hmm.
I think a quotient of love is that it's going to continue. And the same thing with art, that it will continue. Mm-hmm. If you see an end to it, it takes away the beauty of moving along that path.
Well, I have to say, Elan, I'm always moved by your work, and I always really enjoy speaking to you. I get so much, you are able to communicate so beautifully the way you think, and it shows me that you can express it through your art, and also in your mind you have a grasp of it. And I'm always happy to be able to come and share a conversation with you, Elan, because I walk away feeling like, oh, I captured a little bit of this. In my mind, I understand how the process of creativity and spirit